Hi, it's Lady Lecture K. This is a response to a comment in my videos from Agupri. I've been trying to model curves for a few days and I've noticed very few assets, with the exception of the beach core train, create curves or curvy surfaces, for example curvy roads. Do I know of any technique? Could I share it? Right, okay, so he's started making a Scalextrics, and this is the pieces that he's already made. He's actually made this huge like this. He hasn't cut them down, but this is how you do a curve nice and easy. So let's get a nice black and grab us a cylinder. Okay, so we press L1 and square and we put a hole in it. Now the size of this hole will depend on the tightness of curve that you want. So if I just put a hole in like that, okay, and then we want the section. If we want just a full round curve like that, then we just make it big enough so that it fits like that. And then you use the stretch tool and just reduce the size of that like that. And there is our curve. Obviously that's a half circle. That might not be what you want. Maybe you want a different type of curve. Well, you can alter it with this stretch tool. So we can grab it like this and we can stretch it like this. There we go. There's it in that direction, and we can stretch it in this direction, so we can make the curve a lot wider like this. And we can stretch it in this direction to make it much shallower like that. So this way you can get whichever curve you need. For the other option on the cylinder, we can cut it down to that smaller section. That gives you just a little curve, and again you can stretch this. So whoops, you can stretch it with this tool. So we need to get it into it. I'm going to stretch it up like that, but if I can get on the edge, there we go, I can stretch it that way like that. And can I get the inner edge? It's really hard to do in that because there we go, like that. Right, so that gives you a much shallower curve like so. Now he's got these really tight little Scalextrics parts. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult. So you would have to do it as smaller pieces and then just layer them up. And so if I was to take another colour like this, I think it's easier actually if you make it actually smaller, not that huge piece. Right, let's stamp it down. We'll put it next to our track. So this is going to be the silvery bit. As you can see, it's not quite the right shape. So then we go into the tools with the stretch tool and we can manipulate it until it is the right shape. Just adjust and adjust and adjust until we get it so that it is the right shape for the inside of that curve. There we go. Now obviously that is quite thick. So you're gonna probably need to manipulate it and make it smaller. Get it at the smallest possible. I recommend you get it the smallest possible hole. So if we were to do this again, let's do it again. This time we'll make it so that the hole is the smallest it will be. That's the thinnest it will get, unfortunately. But you can shrink it right down There we go. And then we can manipulate it. So I get on that edge. There we go. Come on then. There we are. So we can manipulate it. Get it in. There we are. That makes a nice thin. If we stamp it down, we can then manipulate it with the stretch tool. So you're not fixed with it. You can manipulate. There we go. So we're pulling it and pulling it. This is what happens when you see them in the stream with their move controllers, and they do this just by moving the move controllers around and stretching things and pulling them apart. And you're thinking, well, how do I do that with a DS4 controller? I mean, they've got more control. Yes, they do, but you can still do exactly the same techniques. It's just they never show it us because they're so busy showing us how to do it with the move controllers and getting all excited because they've got move controllers. They forget that most people don't have move controllers. There we go. So that's the sort of thing you can do, sort of like line up. Now you can see that's all blurry and horrible. So in order to make that fleck a bit, we can use triangle, and then we can increase the detail. I did that as one piece. If I'd done that as two pieces, then it would be even better. I could have made that even more sharp. And then of course I can make this shiny and metallic. There we go. That's how you would do your edges. I haven't done that very well, but you can see the technique anyway. You would spend some time adjusting that and getting that to the right curve. But that's how you do it. That's how you do curved track pieces. You use a cylinder. Cut it up, move it around, manipulate it, and there you go. Easy job. And, you know, I wouldn't recommend you make them this thick. Just make them thin like that. In the first instance, don't make them thick and then pop them down like these have been done. Reduce the size of them down so that they are flat. And that's it. You make your nice modular kit. Because once you've made your modular curves, then they'll just fit around each other, and you can make your own track. Right, I hope that helped, and that was the sort of question that you wanted answered. Thanks for watching. Catch you in your dreams.